Ever spent hours reading your notes, highlighting every page, feeling completely confident you know the material, only to stare blankly at the first question on the exam? It's an incredibly common trap called the fluency illusion. Repeatedly reading a chapter makes you fluent in the author's syntax and the sequence of words on the page, rather than a master of the underlying concepts. This text outlines exactly why this happens. As it notes here, reading a passage repeatedly creates a sense of familiarity, but we mistakenly interpret that familiarity as actual accessible knowledge. We need to build a system around a counterintuitive fact. Learning is deeper and more durable when it takes effort. If it feels easy, it's like writing in sand, here today, gone tomorrow. To actually retain information, we have to ditch the conventional wisdom of rapid-fire repetition and replace it with strategies backed by cognitive science. The most potent tool for durable retention is retrieval practice. Instead of passively looking at your notes, you force your brain to pull the information out of memory. You simply close the book and quiz yourself. When you read a new text, pause periodically and ask yourself questions like the ones shown here. What are the key ideas? What terms are new? How would I define them? Doing this without looking at the source material arrests forgetting and secures the information in your mind. You can even push this further by using a pretest technique called generation. This means trying to solve a problem or answer a question before anyone has actually taught you the solution. Even if you guess incorrectly, wrestling with the question makes you acutely aware of what you don't know. It carves out a cognitive gap. When the correct answer is finally revealed, it perfectly fits that fresh space in your memory, ensuring the concept is deeply encoded. Pulling information from memory works well, but doing it in one massive, rapid-fire cram session won't last. For long-term retention, you need spaced repetition. By letting time pass between your study sessions, you allow the memory traces to properly consolidate. A practical way to apply this is the Leitner system. You take a set of flashcards and sort them into 4 separate boxes based on how well you know them. You start with everything in the first box. If you pull a card and answer it correctly, it moves to the next box, and the interval between reviews increases. A card you know well might only be tested every few days, or eventually once a month. But if you miss a question, it drops all the way back to the first box. That forces you to practice your weak spots frequently, while spending less time on the material you've already mastered. Now, because you are allowing time to pass, you will naturally forget some of the material. Your next practice session is going to feel rusty and frustrating. That is actually the goal. The intense mental effort required to reconstruct a faded memory makes the concept pliable again, triggering a physical process in the brain called reconsolidation that strengthens the neural pathways. The final active component is interleaving. Instead of spending 3 hours drilling the exact same math formula, you mix different types of problems and subjects together in a single session. Consider a baseball player taking batting practice. If a pitcher throws 20 fastballs in a row, the batter shows rapid improvement, but that performance relies on short-term memory. Facing random pitches forces the brain to identify the type of ball and execute the correct response on the fly, building the versatile mental models required for a live game. Let's apply this right now. Look away from the screen, pause this video, and state out loud the specific techniques we just covered and why rereading your notes is a trap. Integrating these tools creates a highly efficient weekly routine. You might tackle a new text on Monday using generation to guess answers before reading. On Wednesday, you run through interleaved problem sets. By Friday, you execute a spaced retrieval quiz, testing yourself on everything without looking at the source material. This gives you a complete science-backed study engine. Retrieve information by self-quizzing, generate answers before you know them, space out your reviews to allow for forgetting, interleave different types of problems, and most importantly, embrace the difficulty. Your intellectual abilities are largely within your own control. By stepping away from the false comfort of passive reading and choosing to work through the friction of active recall, you are physically building your own expertise, one effortful step at a time.